The NBA has become a 24/7 circus, non-stop trade requests, always unhappy stars demanding out, wanting a new team, only to demand a trade again and again, players dictating where they want to go.
Even after shortly signing extensions, it's one thing if big namers like James Harden and Dame Lillard wants out, but even below average NBA players have lashed out, wanting out of their former teams when many of them are considered side pieces in big blockbuster trades. How's it going, guys? My name's Wilson. Guys who will be role players on everywhere they end up. Furkan Korkmaz of the Sixers, only to be barely getting playing time now, no improvements whatsoever. Bones Hyland, only in his second season, wanting out of his former team when they won a championship without him. That sucks for him. The angry Jay Crowder, from sitting out half the season, refusing to play for the Suns like a big shot, only to end up barely cracking the rotation for Milwaukee. An absolute travesty! Dwayne Dedmon, a hostile environment with Sacramento, months after signing 3 years $40 million, demanding out, took his talents elsewhere, barely in the NBA right now, under contract with the Sixers. And Thomas Bryant, super unhappy with the Lakers, barely used, ended up winning a ship in Denver. At least he can call himself an NBA champion now. So, with that said, here are 10 of the worst players to demand a trade, only to perform worse and out the NBA shortly after.
Starting with Roko Ukic from Croatia, the 41st pick of the 08 draft, one of those European gambles viewed upon a future Ginobili with the potential but couldn't finish or shoot. Already aged 24 entering the league, became an absolute travesty for the franchise. 4.2 points, 2.1 assists, 38% from the field, 11 of 62 from 3, supposed to be a mid to late first rounder. His best game, 2 huge buckets in a win over the Spurs, nothing more than a third stringer, backing up Jose Calderon, traded to Milwaukee for Amir Johnson, lasted 13 games 2010 season, 85 total NBA outings. Again, unhappy with his role on a new team, waived, returned to play overseas, still somewhat active at age 39 today, unwilling to be more patient with the NBA at his own request, just 25 at the time, playing behind Brandon Jennings and Luke Rittenauer. Ukic simply didn't get the playing time he wanted, took matters in his own hands, a super long pro career. The NBA is simply not for everybody. Joe Alexander of the Milwaukee Bucks, one of the worst first rounders of the century, the 6'8 small forward, drafted 2008 draft, lasted 67 total games, a short 2-year career, 4.2 points, 1.8 rebounds, less than 1 assist, 282 career points, one of the most athletic prospects in his class, 3 seasons at West Virginia, selected above the likes of Brook Lopez, Serge Ibaka, Roy Hibbert, and Nick Batum. Alexander, not shy to express his true feelings, blames the dysfunctionality of the Bucks franchise for his disappointing tenure. Touted as a project with potential but didn't have time to develop, Alexander did not play basketball till age 16. Super athletic and lacks fundamentals, blamed the irresponsible franchise for having the league look down on him a different way, had stints with the G League, overseas, Russia and Israel, couldn't find a path back to the NBA, a stress fracture kept him out 2 years. After the old owner sold the team, Milwaukee heavily improved. Alexander believed the former regime made him feel left out and didn't allow him getting a fair share. Also questioned the team's commitment on him. Franchise then sent him to the Fort Wayne Mad Ants G League team, then traded to the Bulls, 8 games, waived by New Orleans right before 2011 season. Last NBA game age 23, still playing overseas post 2023, age 36. His name totally forgotten by new Buck fans, but the true ones who suffered in the late 2000s remember truly the brutal struggles and missed draft picks. KJ McDaniels of the tanking Sixers, just 3 seasons in the league, 148 games, and once considered a franchise piece after a 9.2 point average, athletic tough on-ball defender, was averaging 1.3 blocks through 52 games, bet on himself becoming a restricted free agent to command a higher salary than a typical second-year player. When declining a 4-year contract after getting drafted, rumors already floated McDaniels super unhappy with the tank process, ended up traded more than halfway through his rookie season for another hinky legend, Isaiah Canyon, and a second turned out to be Rashad Holmes, with the team starting out 3-23. Having a super supportive mother, absolutely furious about the team, showing no shame in tanking, a series of angry tweets drew the attention to the front office. Off to Houston he went, started just one game for H-Town, his lack of jump shot, the biggest downfall of his career, didn't have a smooth release, went down with an elbow injury 2015, missed Houston's conference finals run from not wanting to be on a bad team where he would have eventually put up big numbers, became super limited on better ones, most remembered for his 5 fouls in 9 seconds for the hack of Drummond. KG's last season came in 2017, signed then waived by the Raptors. Same with OKC, G League, then overseas, recently in the Philippines. Jimmer Fredette, the BYU prodigy, had many doubts and skeptics surrounding his NBA fit, all offense and scoring, zero defense, no playmaking, not athletic, undersized at 6'2", more of a 2 guard, the superstar status in college, overseas legend, the type of guy to drop high numbers in every professional basketball league imaginable besides the NBA, picked 10th in 2011, started with the worst franchise possible, Sacramento, lacked the handles and playmaking to be a 1, not big enough being a 2, after getting beat out by the 60th pick Isaiah Thomas, 2.5 seasons with the Kings, got cut, after 7 games with Paul Westhead, fired, Mike Malone wasn't fond of Fredette, plus playing alongside ball stoppers Tariq Evans and DeMarcus Cousins, absolutely the wrong guys to pair him up with. A quote in 2015 shared by an assistant coach said Jimmer thinks everybody is stupid. He thinks everybody needs to come and just turn over their offense and let him shoot it anytime he wants. That's not how the league works. 8 games with the Bulls, 54 with New Orleans, 2 with New York, then 6 with Phoenix, 241 total. The type of guy who can't be an effective role player needs to be the man and be the man only, which explains why he dominates overseas and casually drops 70. But the inconsistent shooting and needing the ball in his hands, not figuring out any adjustments, despite even being signed with the Spurs in 2015 before waiving him just days into the season. If Popovich doesn't want you, that just gives all the impression for every team not wanting to sign a player. Instead of being Steph Curry or Patty Mills and mastering a role as a bench guy, Fredette always wanted to be a super poor man's James Harden with way less skill as a shoot-first guy, never worked on his weaknesses. When players get a bad rap around the league, the damage almost irreparable. His name nowadays likely hasn't crossed many GM's minds in years. Shabazz, who lied about his age, Muhammad, his high school mistake, trying to gain a massive advantage, playing kids younger than him, trying to cheat the system before making it, forever known as the guy ticking right before Giannis, career numbers of 9 points, less than 3 rebounds, half an assist, didn't have a real position, being a top high school prospect to forgotten, playing for the dysfunctional Timberwolves didn't help his case, already a bench guy. But after signing Coach Thibodeau, known for playing his starters most minutes, Muhammad received many DMPs, demanded out after less than a year since resigning, after stupidly turning down 4 years $40, only to see his market dry up, settle for 1.5, an absolute travesty! A volume scorer, not good on D, can't pass, brought out by Minnesota, only to be out the league after a brief stint with the Bucks, 5 lackluster seasons. At least he realized he was immature, similar to Jimmer. Muhammad, a legend in China, struggled in the G League after 2 games of the 21 season. Now 30 years old, the more time goes by, his hopes returning to the NBA getting slimmer, just like Jimmer. Jahlil Okafor of the Philadelphia 76ers, the 3rd pick of the 2015 draft, team already having 2 centers, the incompetent franchise wanted the likes of D'Angelo Russell, but decided to take the best player available. The 6'11" one and done Duke legend, after winning a national title, the #1 high school player in the country, a guaranteed offensive machine on the post, started most of his games rookie year, one of the worst teams all time, 10-72 tanking Sixers. The perfect definition of empty stats, 17.5 points, 7 boards, took 15 shots, never passed the ball. His role and minutes reduced years after, being in the worst possible situation, had plenty of off-court altercations from fans talking smack about his team. Young Jahlil had every right to be angry. A meniscus injury after the emergence of Embiid, with guys like Rashad Holmes and Nerlens Noel, combined with Okafor's lack of defense, being a one-dimensional scorer, did not fit the modern league. No outside shooting, questionable motor. After drafting Ben Simmons, Jahlil wanted a speedy divorce but wasn't getting it from Colangelo, didn't care how he left Philly, desperately wanting to play elsewhere, ended up traded to Brooklyn for Trevor Booker, only to be Jared Allen's backup, became a salary dump, Nets got a second rounder, turned out to be Nick Claxton. Jahlil never developed any other skill sets to make him more effective. A black hole as a role player, simply playing in the wrong era. Brief stints with New Orleans, Detroit, waived by Atlanta, out the league by age 25. Marquese Chriss already developed the bad rap as a teenager for Phoenix, angry emotions on a dysfunctional franchise. After 2 seasons traded to Houston, barely playing on a contender, the 21-year-old demanded more minutes elsewhere, wanted to be treated fairly, while the bigs of Clint Capella, Nene, and Isaiah Hortenstein way better, felt he was held back. A preposterous trade demand for an unestablished young player, instead of going through some growing pains on a contender, ended up in Houston. Then the 2020 Warriors showed a little promise. Last played 2022 Dallas, never truly developed, was only 24, surrounded by many bad players, multiple coaches, no vet mentoring him early. An all-out athlete, good physical gifts, but no skill sets that truly stands out. Known for fighting and the messy altercations, many GMs will remember all the bad impressions, but absolutely don't remember any of his highlights on the court. Thon Maker of the Milwaukee Bucks, most remembered for his age conspiracies when getting drafted. Still listed age 26 in 2023, 10-pick 2016 draft, considered raw with unlimited ceiling, legit 7-footer with ball skills, deemed a stretch 5, didn't play college ball, absolutely disappointed with the Bucks, not a quality starter. With the team having its best season in decades, 2019, a frustrated Maker demanded out, wanting a larger role. Milwaukee had no obligations to trade him that easily, eligible for a rookie extension, beat out by DJ Wilson in the rotation. The constant DMPs, still considered young and promising, but made no progress, struggled to put on weight, bad hands, poor body coordination. Many already had their own opinions regarding his age, but despite the claims, Thon Maker's NBA tenure, an absolute travesty. Ended up on the Pistons, got abused by his former team 2019 playoffs, last suited up 2021 Cavs, already out the league by age 23. Many already assume he was already 23 when getting drafted, now playing in China. Chandler Hutchison, who recently announced his retirement from the game. The former Boise State legend, considered a low-key first-round steal, picked 22nd, but a disastrous Bulls tenure, battled through constant injuries, 103 total games, most notable for trying to troll his former team with a TikTok post. Like he actually helped the Wizards do anything to make the postseason, a bench warmer talking like a starter, disrespecting the franchise when Chicago gave him every possible opportunity. Last played 2022 Suns, already had his opportunities. Although not fully confirmed, a spat with Billy Donovan over his lack of playing time wanted out. If they weren't gonna play him, if true, he might literally be the worst player in the history of the league to demand out of a trade after catching COVID. Hutchison ended up being out weeks later for personal reasons. Coach Donovan, being a pro, didn't want anything to leak, but whatever the conversation both had couldn't have gone well with the bench warmer when he straight up wasn't getting any playing time during a time Wendell Carter, Larry Marketing, and Otto Porter Jr. all out with injuries. A weird situation only led to more speculations. At the end of the day, Hutchison wasn't even close to living up to expectations, one of the typical disappointing draft picks under the Garpax regime. Christian Wood, perfect definition of empty stats on losing team. It's not an accident. Can't stick around with one team for more than 2 years, 7 different teams. Always seems to be unhappy everywhere he plays, soon to be 28 years old, typical ball stopper, horrendous defense, fails to listen, thinks he's a true star but not adaptable. Many viewed him as Kristaps Porzingis' replacement, lost most of his value after not living up to expectations for a conference finals team the season before without him, to failing to even make the playoffs. Despite the offensive skills, can give his team 20 plus but give up 40. Surrounded by bad teams with no culture, Wood simply couldn't adjust. A me first type guy, gets his shot up, attitude problems, the ultimate journeyman. His NBA journey might sadly be no more.
Thanks so much for watching this video. Your thoughts on below average NBA players to demand a trade. Is that ridiculous? Who's the worst guy I mentioned on this list? Let me know in the comments below. Subscribe for more content, more great stuff coming soon, and I'll see you guys next time.